So if you look at your planner, today is about how your child learns. But I'm going to break it into two. I'd like to take it 2 times. The first one is drama, learning drama. Now this is because I get this all the time. We get questions that concern the child learning, homework, not cooperating, and a lot of them. So, and I feel that one of the reasons children don't cooperate during homework is because we do not understand. And so if we understand why they do not cooperate, it will be easy for us to deal with lack of cooperation during homework. Because like I always say, homework time is an important time to teach children life skills, to teach them patience, to teach them determination, to teach them critical thinking, to even bond with them. So if homework time is chaotic, is all dramatic and all of that, then you are not teaching life skills. Even in school goes beyond learning how to read and write. It goes beyond academics. The children learn a lot of things in school. They learn social skills, they learn perseverance when it comes to handwriting, copying from the board. They learn perseverance when it comes to repeating their classwork they didn't get at first attempt. They learn determination, they learn critical thinking, cognitive development, social development, even physical development. When they do their sports, they exercise their fine motor skills and a lot of it. Children learn all of this in school. Even at home, during their homework, they also learn a lot of these things. But if homework time is chaotic, is dramatic, is all the yelling, the beating, then they are not able to learn these skills, these extra skills, these bonus skills that come with homework time. So now this is why today I want to start with a focus on homework drama, learning drama, whether homework or even trying to teach them things, learning drama differently. Then after today's class, on Wednesday, they will take it further to how children learn, their learning styles, and how we can maximize their learning styles to actually help them do better in the classroom. Now, the truth is, when a child is not cooperating during homework, it can be annoying. That is the simple truth. It can be really very annoying. You know, wanting your child to write or do homework or get it done so you can move on to other things. It can really be annoying. And so many parents flip, they are angry, they want to yell, they want to smack, but they are counterproductive. The truth of the matter is your child doesn't just refuse to do homework, or your child doesn't just not get the answers correctly because they want to. Factors are responsible for why they are acting up during homework. Now, if you understand these factors, you'll be able to know exactly how to help them act, how to get them to cooperate during homework. And the factors are what I'm looking at. The first factor is we don't ever consider that the child may be tired. Tiredness is one of the factors. Children have been out all day, they are going to school, playing, learning in school. Then when they come back home, the teachers give them homework that runs into tens. The other day, a friend was telling me that the child in secondary school, JSS3, they do 10 subjects a day. And I'm like, how possible is that? 10 subjects a day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 subjects a day. How possible is that? And most of these subjects, they copy notes. So the child is tired, exhausted, you know, and then they give them homework to do at home. And the child gets home, the child again is tired. And the parent, you want to force the child to do the homework. You want to, when they are tired, they are tired. They can't produce when they are tired. I remember a parent shared here some time ago, shared the park community some time ago that she was trying to force her children to do homework. I think 3 and 5 or 5 and 7, or between just young children. And they were crying. Thank God for the knowledge she's gotten from park. So she let them be. She went to bathe them. And she gave them 5 minutes only. They were already sleeping. They were in dreamland, which simply means that these children were tired. They were sleepy, feeling sleepy. And this mom wanted them to do homework. That was why they were not cooperating. Now imagine if she was yelling. Imagine if she was beating. She will be forcing them. They still will not be able to cooperate because They were feeling sleepy, they were tired, they were feeling sleepy, they would not be able to cooperate. So you would just yell, you would just smack, you would just say, you just use negative words out of anger, out of frustration. The child is feeling sleepy. You know, when you are feeling sleepy, you can even just do, people drive, feel sleepy when they are driving, they enter into a ditch. So your child can be feeling sleepy and you're forcing him to write, and they can just be writing things that are not in line with what you've asked them, and you are wondering, didn't I teach you this? Didn't your teacher teach you this? Where were you? You don't realize your child is tired. So you need to understand that children can get tired. So you need to be sure that your child is not tired during homework, and it's not because of tiredness that your child is not uncooperating. You should learn that. Not if because your child is tired that your child is not cooperating. If your child is tired, then you know that there is nothing you can do about it than to give your child a break. Let them rest, let them sleep. Being tired and feeling sleepy are two factors that will work against your child's cooperation during homework. Note it. Being tired and feeling sleepy are two factors that will make your child not cooperate during homework. So you need to rule this out when you are teaching homework before you conclude that the child is not cooperating. Another factor is saturation. This should be a very common one. You know, it's just like getting tired. Saturated, they are over full from learning all day. Just like in my children's case, they have early morning math. They are supposed to be in school by 7 a.m. After that, they stay in school normal time till like 2 p.m. After that, they do after school, because after school is compulsory. Early morning math is compulsory from grade 4 to grade 6. Then after school is compulsory from grade 4 to grade 6. That the children stay in school from 7 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. most of the time, learning. Excuse you, excuse me, excuse us. Obviously, at the end of the day, they are going to be saturated. That is the extent they would have taken, the extent they can take, even the teachers. So I always tell them that the after school they claim they do, I don't see it being effective. Are they robots? Are they running on fuel? Are they running on engine that's from 7 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. and from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.? Nah, it's not possible. You know, so saturation. Your child has taken enough for the day. Your child has taken what he can take when it comes to learning. So you need to give them a break, a long break, to at least let some go, to relax, to get away from learning, schoolwork, before they'll come back to it. So if you don't give them that break, they're over full. There's nothing you are saying is entering. They're over full, is locked. They can't bring anything out, they can't take anything in. So saturation is another reason why children do not cooperate during homework. So if your child has a long time, stays in school for a long time learning, and you know that most of the time in school is learning, you want to actually give them a break, a short break, a long break, to calm down, to let go some of those learning that has toughed or filled his or her brain before you begin to engage them again. Otherwise, your engaging them will be counterproductive, and then they begin to yell and smack, which you do not want. The next one is hunger. Children can't learn when they are hungry. Now, this is common sense. We all know they're hungry, they can't learn. So you want to make sure your child is well fed. You want to make sure. Sometimes children go to school and they because you think they came back with an empty cooler, they've eaten their food. It may be that they did not finish their food. Some of them will just sneak behind the teacher and empty the food in the trash basket, especially when they do not like the food. Now, this is why I wonder why parents force their children to take food they don't like to school. No, it's not. Some of the children, sometimes the teacher force them to eat. You see the way they eat with drama. We force children to do everything. Teachers force them to eat. Some parents know that the children don't like this particular food. They give the child the food to school because the teacher can force the child to eat. No. Give your child the food they like to eat at school. Then when you come back home, you cannot cook that food they don't like and see how you can how you can encourage them to eat it. Don't give the teacher the extra responsibility of forcing your child to eat. How about now? That's why teachers get angry, they get impatient. They are teaching, they are making sure the child doesn't get injured, they are making sure the child's homework is marked and everything. They are still making sure the child eats well. And sometimes it's just one teacher in a class of how many children? So by the time the child doesn't finish the food and the teacher is not watching, she goes to the trash bin and pours it there and empties it and comes back. You think, oh, your child is full. Even when your child is saying, mommy, I'm hungry, say, well, you're not the one that ate up all that food. Let's finish homework. Your child is hungry. That homework time, they can't produce. So you want to make sure that your child is not hungry. Your child is satisfied, well fed before homework. Now, another reason children may be not cooperative during homework time is if they are bothered. There's something that is bothering them, they're not in a good state of mind. Just like adults have things that bother us and they distract us from being productive, kids also have things that bother them and distract them from being productive. It's just that we don't always want to regard children. We don't see them. We don't think they have feelings. We don't even think they have a right to have feelings, Things also bother them, and you want to make sure that thing is sorted. They are in a good place so that they can be productive. Like this evening, my son has snails. He keeps snails, and I knew definitely that he will be distracted. The thought of snail may distract him, so I made sure he checked on his nails before we started the homework, so that is sorted, that is taken care of. It doesn't distract him. He doesn't start thinking, oh, are they crawling away, or are they, what's happening? So you want to make sure your child is in a good place. Now, this is why I always tell you that one of the first things you should do after school is to connect with your child, to rebond with your child. On your way back from school, catch up, ask your child how the day went, how his or her day went. Share how your day went with your child. That minute of catching up, that minute of sharing how your day went, that minute of touch, hugs, rebonding will help your child feel good, bring him back into a good place. Because the truth is, he's been out all day with people who care less. Frankly, no matter how much the teachers care or the other children care, they won't care as much as you do. Even if they care so much, they have very many children to attend to, so they won't have time to pay that attention to your child that matters. So now you are reconnecting with your child after a break. Then you should give attention. You should reconnect. You should feel your child's love bank. You should make sure your child, even if your child is in a bad place, you make sure you bring him back or her back to a good place. Deposit into his or her emotional bank account all the trauma events and people around have all the baggages events and people around have caused. Undo it by your love, undo it by your show of affection, undo it by your show of concern, undo it by your show of empathy, undo it by sharing your struggles, talking about how your day went. Undo it by letting your child know that life throws a lot of lemons. You can take them and make lemonades out of it. Undo it by talking to your child. Undo it by being your child's safe space. When your child is in a good mood, then he or she can easily cooperate, or rather can be more cooperative during homework time. The next reason your child may be struggling with homework or not cooperating during homework or during learning time is the almighty distraction. Yes, distraction. This is why it is always important to have a study structure. A study structure. I referred to a study structure the other time. I talked about it. Time, place, materials, all available. There's no, you are watching television and your child is doing homework. No, he's going to be distracted. She's going to be distracted. There is no magic. You are doing homework and some other children are playing. Your child will be distracted. There is no magic. You'll be distracted. So you want to make sure that the place where the homework is being done, There is nothing to distract the child. They have a reading corner, they do their homework in the reading corner. During homework time, television is off. During homework time, your phone is not ringing. You're not doing homework and listening to watching skits at the same time. You're not doing homework and being distracted. You're not doing homework and just playing or anything. You want to make sure that homework time has a place, has a time where the homework is done, so that your child distractions can be minimized and your child can actually focus, especially for children who have high distraction level. You want to really give the distraction in that environment where they are doing their homework 100% non-existent, so that they can have all their energy focused on homework, so that they can pay attention to homework. Distraction is a major reason why your child may not cooperate during homework. They are doing homework, television is showing, they are showing their favorite cartoon. Hey, distraction. Even an adult will get distracted. They are doing homework and their toys, play materials are all over the place. Your child will get distracted. So you want to create a reading corner, so that, especially if your child is highly distracted, create a reading corner and make sure your homework is done there. There's a time for homework. There's a time for homework and there's a place for homework to minimize distractions. Now, there's one common thing that happens when parents are teaching. They feel they've put everything in place and the child is still not learning it and they are angry. The child is not answering it where they are angry. The truth of the matter is, if your child hasn't answered your questions correctly, if your child is not answering your questions correctly, it simply means that the child has not yet understood. The child has not understood now, so they cannot answer. So instead of you to be angry that your child is not being productive, is not being cooperative, is not answering the questions correctly, you need to patiently teach the child again and again. And one major mistake parents make is, I made it when my kids were much younger. My son rather was much younger, when he was just in school. You try to use the old method you knew that you were taught with to teach your child today, and then you confuse your child. You confuse him or her the more, so he's not able to understand. You are wondering, you did this as classwork, you got 10 over 10. Now you are just repeating it. You are not getting anything. You are uncooperative. The child is not uncooperative. Especially for very young children, they don't know what you are speaking. To them, you are speaking Greek because you are not teaching them the same way they taught them in school. The way they taught them in school, they've run with it already. They are getting home now. We are teaching them A for apple, B for ball, C for cat. When school taught them apple, ball, cat, dog, you are teaching them a different thing. When you are teaching long division, when the school taught them with song, with fun things for them to learn, you are teaching them the traditional rigid way. They are not producing it and you are angry. If your child is struggling with it, you need to ask the school, the teacher, how they've taught that topic before, so that you can use that topic, that pattern in your homework and in your revision. That way your child will learn. Don't confuse the child. Don't confuse your child, all in the name of teaching, and then you are beating him on top of because he's not producing, he's not cooperating, you are angry, you are smacking, you are yelling. When you are the one confusing the child, you are the one that should be smacked and yelled at, because you are the one confusing the child. You are confusing him. You are making him not being able to think, because he's learnt one thing, you have come with a different thing, and he doesn't know this one you are teaching. Because children are single-minded. Even if he wasn't single-minded, he's been taught in school the way he knows. Now you are teaching him a different thing. So you need to understand how your child is being taught, follow that pattern. And when your learning hasn't taken place, then you do not have a right to beat, you do not have a right to yell at, you don't have the right to be impatient when learning hasn't taken place. Learning must take place for your child to understand. If your child doesn't yet answer your questions correctly, it simply means learning hasn't taken place. So you begin to explore more ways to teach that thing, because beating will not teach it, yelling will not teach it, Being angry and name calling or threats will not teach it. You just need to learn other ways to teach it. Patiently teach it. Now, the next thing you want to make sure of is you actually have a structure. I've talked about it. You don't call your child. There's a particular time for homework. You don't call your child out in the middle of play, in the middle of fun activity to come and do homework. They'll be distracted. They will not feel good about it, and that will make them not cooperate. So you want to have a structure, a particular time and place, not in the middle of watching their television. You call them, come and do your homework. The child will not be pleased. It may make the child not want to cooperate. So what you want to do, you have a definite time and a definite place, and you have a cue. It can be an alarm. Once the alarm rings, wrap up what you are doing because it's homework time. You know, you can use an alarm system to remind your child that it is homework time. So again, structure, a definite place and a definite time, and do not call your child out of the middle of a busy schedule, busy activity. Yes, you may think he's not busy. Your child is busy having the fun of his life. You may think it's not cartoon you are watching. Have you not seen it before? You've seen this. DSTV is always repeating cartoon. You've seen it 1,000,001 times. You are still watching it. No, your child still loves it. So you can't call them out of the middle of a fun activity to come and do homework. The strong-willed child especially, we don't like it. So another reason is fear. You know, after all your yelling, your smacking, the child is confused. You know, your child is now afraid. That fear now makes them confused. It confuses them. They are confused because they are afraid. It can make them just start not knowing what to write, not knowing how to answer because he's afraid, he's confused. So fear, the yelling you do, the smacking you do, end up putting fear in your child's, putting fear in your child, and they are not able to produce what you want them to produce, and it becomes frustrating for you. You are angry, yelling more, smacking more. The child is more afraid, fidgeting, confused, not even knowing how to think, not able to think, because once you yell at a child, the brain shuts down. They are not able to think. You know, I'm sure most every parent can relate to it. If you're a yelling parent, so that when you yell at your child, get something, they are confused. They don't even know what to do anymore. Same thing happens. The brain is disoriented. So when you yell, so you are not going to get result. Then you now say, oh, the child, after all they've taught, the child is not learning, the child is not smart or something. No, you are the one confusing him. Now, the more you even confuse him, the more you yell, the more you smart during homework, the more you are confusing. This homework drama is just I get it a lot, even from non-pack parents, very many. The child is not cooperating during homework. The child is not cooperating during homework. The child is not cooperating during homework. They will teach him something in school. He will come home. He cannot do it. Is it that they write for them in school? Teachers write for them in school. I'm sure the teachers write from them in school because it doesn't make sense that something he learned in school, that he got 5/5, he scored 10/10. Now, during homework time, he cannot produce one single one. All your yelling, all your smacking will confuse the child, will make the child afraid. And the child, his brain will shut down. Her brain will shut down. He'll be confused. He will not know what to do. You know, he will just be like someone who is looking for something in the dark. That's what happens with all the drama of yelling and smacking during homework time. This, in fact, yelling and smacking during homework time is just one of the stupidest reason. Homework is one of the stupidest time to actually yell and smack a child. It doesn't make sense. Well, I don't blame anyone who does it because I was once there. I remember when Noah was much younger, I think 2, 3, during homework time, I was angry too. So I understand when parents get angry during homework time. I understand too because I've been there. But from knowledge now, I know that it is the most unfair time, very unfair time to actually get angry at a child. Now, the last reason I'm sharing why your child may be struggling with homework or not cooperating or seem not cooperating during homework time may be because the subjects, the work he's being asked to do is genuinely not above him. It's genuinely above him, like difficult for him to do. So it's a major one with schools these days using year ahead book or even years ahead books, and your child may not have developed. Every child don't develop at the same pace. Your child may not have developed upstairs cognitively to be able to tackle some questions that the schools expect him to tackle. I remember when I was much younger, I wanted to introduce him to books. So I went to the market, I went shopping, and I saw these books, and then I just bought them. You know, I got home, they were really like boring. He was not interested. I know I was angry. Until one day, I don't even know how I just got the inspiration. I decided to buy books that had simpler vocabularies, and that was it. You know, because the books I bought were not appropriate at all. He couldn't understand it, so it was difficult for him to learn. So same thing happens. So if the topic your child is being taught is more than him, your child will struggle to learn. So because they are struggling so much, they will not be interested in learning. They will not be interested in learning because the work is too much. So there's no motivation at all. So one of the things you want to do is to make sure your child is in the proper class and using the proper textbook. That way, learning is a bit easier for him and he is motivated to actually learn because it's age appropriate for him. Now, those are the reasons why your child may struggle to learn or struggle with homework. So let's go into a few things you can do to help your child learn better. Just 3 of them. So the last one is what you can do to help your child to minimize the homework or reading drama, homework or revision time or reading drama. One of the things you want to do, basically I've mentioned all of them while I was talking about why there is drama during learning, homework or revision time. I've mentioned all the things you can do. So the ones I want to mention now are even part of what I've mentioned already. So one, make sure your expectations are valid. They are proper, they are appropriate. Your child is not in a class that is too much for him. Your child is not using textbooks that are too much for him. Make sure your child are using the right textbooks and they're in the right classes. Make sure your child is in the right class rather. Make sure of that. That way you know that, okay, learning is age appropriate. The struggle will be less. The drama will be greatly minimized. Make sure you know exactly how a topic is being taught. You don't want your child learning like I said, apple, and you are teaching A for apple. This class is not just for children, because even my older children, like when they are learning HCF, for example, when they are learning factorization, there are some some topics they are learning in math especially, and I try to teach them. I learn from YouTube, Google. I realize that the method they are teaching them is different, so it's confusing. It's just that because they are older, and when they begin to get the same answer, they now compare the 2 questions and look for which one. They compare the 2 patterns. They now look for which one is simpler. They tend to adopt that. But apart from that, for younger children, it is going to be a big struggle that they are teaching this A in school. We are teaching the same thing using a different method. So you want to be sure of how they are being taught in school and follow that exact method. That's getting your teaching skills. Make sure you know how to teach a particular topic in school. They can be using objects to do takeaway, and you are just having them think of takeaway from the abstract side. It may make them struggle a great deal. And lastly, be patient. Patience is very, very important in parenting. No matter what you are doing in parenting, patience is very, very important. Whether your child is pushing your button, patience is important. Whether your child is not cooperating, patience is important. Whether your child is a slow learner, is a slow writer, your child doesn't learn at first, your child is homework time. Patience is very important. Learn to be patient. Take a deep breath. It's not an emergency. Even if your child doesn't know the answer today, doesn't know the answer tomorrow, it's not an emergency. No life is being lost. No threat anywhere. Learn to be patient. Homework time is not a time to yell. It's not a time to smack. Homework time can be a time to teach great lessons, not by opening your mouth to teach, not by verbal teaching, but by teaching through modeling. Homework time is one of those times you can actually teach emotional intelligence, because you are intelligent emotionally while at it. Homework time is a time to teach perseverance, determination, critical thinking. It's a time for you to bond, for you to even teach responsibility. Your child knows his homework time, and without you telling him, he goes to bring his homework, his responsibility. Homework time is a time to teach a lot of lessons, and not just a time to yell, to smack. And lastly, if your child is not understanding what he's learning, is not what you are teaching, your child is not understanding it, no one says you have to, you can have him take it back to school. I do that a great deal of the time. Rather, I used to do that a great deal of time. I just communicate. He's still struggling. That's usually my word. He's still struggling to get this. Can you please take him through it again? That's usually my language. Good day, ma'am. I'd like to let you know that Christoph is still struggling with this particular question. Can you please take him through it again? That is usually my communication, when I communicate back to them. And they are not offended. They take him again. So if your child is generally struggling, don't force it. It simply means that he hasn't understood it. I remember one time, I don't remember what they taught them in school, and I think it was long division, something like that. I wasn't sure how they taught them, so I was trying to teach and teach and teach. I think it was spell or something. She wasn't understanding it. She wasn't getting it. So the next thing I did, I just told them, I communicated with the teacher as usual that she's struggling and I don't know, she should take her through it again. Funny enough, the following day when I got to school, she told me that she only introduced that topic that day. They were going to do that topic all through the week. She introduced it that day and she gave them homework, and almost all of them still struggled with it. So she had to take them again. Now imagine if I was beating, yelling and all of that over something that is not the child's fault. The teacher has not even explained, she has not explained much. She just introduced it that day according to them, and she gave them homework on it. So if your child is struggling, let him or her take the questions back to school, and the teacher will explain better. Now I hope this help you to have a smooth homework time without the dramas, without the yelling, and without the smacking. Thank you for coming to thank you for coming or for catching the replay. Good night. See you tomorrow.